Hey Curry Crew, welcome to the Real Chef Curry, and today we're gonna have an amazing Diwali special video for you. So this is part one of a 2-video series. So without any further ado, let's get to it. So you might be wondering, what is Diwali? Diwali is essentially the festival of lights, and it represents the Hindu New Year. Kind of like how you have Chinese New Year, this is the Hindu New Year. So it's an amazing festival where you get to spend time with family, eat tons of food, and have tons of lights all around the house. So today we have an amazing, delicious, scrumptious recipe for you. However, before we get to that, like always, make sure to punch that notification bell, like, share, and subscribe. So today we have an amazing Gulab Jamun recipe for you, and I'm not even gonna, hype it up anymore. Without further ado, we're gonna get to that recipe right now.
Okay guys, so the first step in making our Gulab Jamun, what we're going to do is we're going to take a non-stick pan, and in there we are going to take 1 tablespoon of ghee. And we're gonna put the flame at about medium, actually between medium and low. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wait for this ghee to melt down a little bit until it gets coated around the pan. And to this pan now I'm going to add 15 ounces of ricotta cheese. And all we're gonna do with this ricotta cheese is we essentially just wanna cook it on the pan until all the liquid in that ricotta cheese has been removed and it basically becomes very dry. So that's all we're looking to do right now with this ricotta cheese. So I'm going to raise the heat to about a medium, and we're just going to keep stirring constantly, and we want to cook this for about 10 minutes or until all the moisture has been removed from this ricotta cheese and it's basically like a dry crumble. So guys, it's been about 15 minutes and the ricotta is done. So as you can see, this is what it should look like when all the moisture has been removed out of it. It just looks like curdled cheese, and basically just looks like a crumble that you have in here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer this over into a bowl, and we're going to let this cool down completely until it is completely cool, and then we will move on to our next step where we'll be making our dough for our Gulab Jamun. And then once we knead the dough, we'll form it into our shapes, we'll fry it, and then we'll stuff it with this ricotta cheese. Okay, so to make our dough, what we have done is taken 4 cups of milk powder, and next we are going to add 2 cups of self-rising flour into this milk powder mixture. So the recipe that we're going over today is going to make about 40 Gulab Jamuns. The dough itself is going to make about 40 Gulab Jamuns. So you can always reduce the recipe and reduce the ratio based on how many you want to make. And next what we're going to do is, in order to knead the dough, our binding agent is going to be heavy cream. So you want to use about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of heavy cream in order to bind the dough. And as the finishing touch, if you still need more liquid in your mixture, you can use a little bit of milk. So in total, to mix this much dough, we ended up using about 4 cups of heavy cream. But like I said, if you want to make less Gulab Jamun in terms of quantity, you can always reduce the ratio and the amount of the ingredients in order to match your needs. So just remember that the milk powder to self-rising flour ratio is 2:1. So for every 1 cup of self-rising flour, you're going to use 2 cups of milk powder. And that 2:1 ratio will make about 20 Gulab Jamun. So if you want, you can always adjust that ratio to the amount that you need. So when you're kneading this dough, you're not taking a specific amount of heavy cream. You're only taking as much as needed to knead your dough. So there's no specific amount of heavy cream that you need. You just have to keep adding heavy cream or milk until you get to the point that your dough reaches the consistency of like a bread dough or like a pizza dough. And if your dough does not come out this nice and soft and sticky, and it comes out a little hard, what's going to happen is then your Gulab Jamun will not come out nice and soft, and they will also be a little bit more hard and stiff when you're trying to make them. So you want to make sure that you get the right consistency on your dough, because that will ensure that you get the softest gulab jamun possible. So in our case, we ended up using about 3.5 cups of heavy cream. But like I said, there's no set amount of heavy cream that you need to take. You're just going to keep adding it until your dough reaches the desired consistency. And with that, our dough is officially done, and this is how it is going to look. Okay, so next we're gonna make our chansani, or sugar syrup, for our gulab jamun. So what we have done is, in a saucepan, we've taken 3 cups of sugar, and now we're going to add 3 cups of water. And basically what we're gonna do is we're just gonna heat this up until it becomes like a syrup. And the way we can test to see if our syrup is the right consistency is that the stickiness should be such that when you put it between 2 fingers, you see a single strand of syrup staying between 2 fingers. So we've turned on the flame to about medium, and what we are going to do is basically just heat up our sugar water and mix it from time to time until we reach that desired consistency. The other thing you'll see is the color will change also. So right now it kind of just looks like cloudy water. Eventually it's gonna get clear, and then it's gonna turn a little bit of like a golden brown color. And that's how you know that you're getting closer and closer to your desired consistency. So this entire process of making this sugar syrup from start to finish should take about 10-15 minutes max. So we're gonna basically let this keep going, and we'll see you guys in about 10 minutes. So guys, our syrup is done. It took about half an hour. The one thing I would say is, based on this experience, you can use less water to sugar ratio if you want to speed up the cooking time. So instead of using 3 cups and 3 cups, or 1-to-1 ratio, you can use something like 2 cups of sugar to 1 cup of water, and that will speed up the time that it takes to make this syrup. And in this syrup now, what we're going to do is we're going to add a pinch of saffron, as well as a pinch of cardamom powder. That is just gonna bring another depth of flavor to our gulab jamun. So this is how our syrup should look after we've added the saffron and cardamom. It is now basically a golden color. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna let it cool down for about 10 minutes. The reason being is, after we fry our gulab jamun, we're gonna dip it into the syrup, and we're gonna also handle it with our hands, and we don't want it to be so hot that we can't touch it and handle the gulab jamun with our hands and burn ourselves. So that's why we're gonna let it cool down for about 10 minutes. Okay guys, so what we've done is we've taken a mixture of ghee and peanut oil, and what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna test to see if our oil is hot enough. So we're gonna draw a little, tiny piece of dough in there, and it's not ready. So you should know it's ready if that piece of dough rises to the top right away. So we're gonna put our flame at about a medium high, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna wait for our oil to heat up, and once it's done, we're gonna start frying up our gulab jamun. Okay guys, so this is what our gulab jamun should look like, and we're just gonna roll it up into this shape, and then you're gonna fry it up. So you kind of want to just make it look like a cutlet, and you're gonna now put it into your oil. It should take about a minute to fry, but you kind of just want to wait for your gulab jamun to get golden brown on both sides, and that's how you know you're ready to remove it from the oil. Okay guys, so this is what our gulab jamuns are going to look like when we take it out of the fryer. They're nice and golden brown, and we've let them cool a little bit. We also want the excess oil to soak off, so that's why we have it on this paper towel. So what we're going to do is we're basically just going to cut a little pocket into the gulab jamun like this. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take this gulab jamun and we're going to dip it into our sugar syrup, and that will basically soak up all the syrup inside this gulab jamun. And then what we're gonna do is, in this pocket, we're gonna stuff our ricotta cheese. Okay guys, so what we're gonna do now is we are going to dip our gulab jamuns that we have cut, and we're gonna dip them into our sugar syrup. So I'm just gonna take about a few, and I'm just gonna drop it into our sugar syrup that we have here. And you wanna just basically let it soak in there. And I'm gonna drop a few more into this. And all you want to do is now just let them soak for about 3-4 minutes. You want to make sure that they're completely soaked. because that's how you make sure that the inside doesn't stay dry and it does become nice and cool and tasty. And then once we have taken them out of the syrup, what we're gonna do is that pouch that we made inside the gulab jamun, we're gonna put our ricotta in there, and then our gulab jamuns are ready to eat. Okay guys, so we have taken our gulab jamun out of the syrup after it was soaking for about 2-3 minutes. So all I'm gonna do now is I'm going to open it up, take a spoonful of our ricotta cheese mixture, and stuff it inside, and then close it back up. And there you have it. We have our gulab jamun ready to go.
So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for part 2 tomorrow, and let's keep cooking.